Welcome back to SL Chennai Speaks Out. This is our second round. It's called cross-examination. On the topic is the media sensitive or sensational? On to team 2 first, to Jayashree and Arun, who believe that the media is sensational. Jayashree, to you first. Without the Information and Broadcasting Ministry having to interfere, the National Broadcasters Association, the NBA, issued a set of guidelines, self-regulation, as a result of which, on that crucial day of the Ayodhya verdict, you found no visuals, even in the run-up to that, of the mosque being demolished. You found no provocative sound bites. As R.K. Radhakrishnan said, even when those lawyers were making their own interpretations, the audio was muted. You found no shots of celebration of either of the two sides. Not an example of self-regulation, not an example of sensitive coverage.
I think the Ayodhya reporting was probably a case where the entire nation stood together in peace and solidarity. It's a great example of patriotism and Indianness that comes much before everything else. But if you will also recall, there has been one place where there was utter and absolute chaos, and that is the place where the media persons were all gathered to get the information. And that was like crazy, because the police had to issue prohibitory orders in order to ensure that the media doesn't go haywire, the stage doesn't collapse, everybody is shoving mics up everybody's face, and nobody gets a clear picture of what's happening. That's why the audio was muted, not because they were showing restraint.
All right, that's your interpretation. You spoke about the Commonwealth Games and our and the alleged overreaction. But when a bridge collapses, like to quote the Supreme Court, a pack of cards, when an athlete goes into his room to find a cobra there, when a boxer sits on the court and it breaks, when there are puddles of water everywhere and dengue and squalor there, shouldn't the media, and when there are allegations of a 70,000 crore rupee corruption scandal there, should the media look the other way or report?
They are going overboard. Okay, the bridge collapses. I don't say you don't cover the bridge collapse or downplay it. I'm not saying that. The problem is when you just go overboard, and if you can't get Kalmadi on the line or Sheila Dixit on cam, don't say that they are running away. They are hiding. That's what I'm saying.
All right, being over dramatic. All right. Jayashree, to you next. Swine flu, reportage of swine flu deaths. When the government seeks to play down the death toll, don't you think the media then has a right to focus on the real figures, to focus on probably precautionary measures that need to be taken? Is this a knee-jerk reaction, or is this reporting it like it is?
I would really love it if the media can focus on real situations. Talk about health problems, talk about health issues. I also work in the health sector. But talk about the real health issues that matter probably much more than swine flu without creating a panic. What about the kind of toll that TB takes and how easily it can be prevented? It's not glamorous enough because it doesn't get news and TRPs. So I think show restraint when it's required, don't create panic.
All right, that's well said. Next to you, Arun. We all admit that 2611 was something new to the country. But post 2611, yes, there will always be rotten apples in every profession. Post 2611, don't you believe that the media exercised restraint, in the sense they did not really disclose operational details, even after that, as far as the security apparatus was concerned?
What about the warmongering? What about the warmongering? There were anchors, television anchors, there were newspaper reports. I'm sorry that we seem to be concentrating more on the television channels than on the print media now. The print media. Even in the print medium, it was there. The way they went out, and for all, it was like going back to the good old days of William Randolph Hearst and having the Spanish War. Given the chance, our media would have liked to have another war with Pakistan, so that, okay, their camera is there or their reporters is there.
All right. Final question in this round to you, Jayashree. Hidden camera or no hidden camera? Don't you believe that fluff is out and serious journalism is in? The practice of sending reporters to ground zero, of reporting from drought-hit areas, from relief camps, don't you think it's changed? And also the era of campaign journalism that we witnessed, the Jessica Lal, the Mattu cases, which the media had, the BMW case, which the media has taken up and pursued them to its logical conclusion.
I agree that there is a lot more happening in the media world, but not necessary that more happening means everything is good. It's important to focus on wrongs, but do it uniformly in such a way that TRPs are not your only objective. Do it in such a way that something positive comes out of it, whether it's a rich person or a poor person. I think there has to be a mean common denominator, and the media has to stick to that.
All right. Thank you very much. On to team 1 now, to R.K. Radhakrishnan. The collapse of a bridge, does that automatically imply the collapse of national pride, which we saw during the Commonwealth Games and the reports that went with it?
Basically, both Jayashree and Arun are asking me to cover up for the incompetence of the Kalmadis and the Sheila Dikshits. I refuse to do that. The point is, I am shoving a mic at you. I am telling you are responsible. I am very sure every single one of you wanted to ask that fellow a question that day, right? Now, that's exactly what I am coming to. Why isn't this fellow answering? We gave you 71,000 crores of money to do the job and you still can't do it. We gave you 3 years to do the job and you still can't do it. And there is a lot of comments as to how the media is being sensational and whatnot. This is nonsense.
All right, combative as ever, R.K. Radhakrishnan. Next to Bhagwan Singh. In hostage situations, would you admit that the media sometimes goes overboard and exerts pressure, undue pressure on the authorities, and sometimes even forces them to release, to give in to the demands of these outlaws, which we saw perhaps during the Kandahar episode? And also, we program our anger to coincide with occasions, like, for instance, the anniversary of 26/11. It almost becomes an anniversary of a tragedy, becomes a media event.
Yeah, that is true. In fact, we remember tsunami every year. We even have a run-up to that. It becomes necessary for us to refresh public memory sometimes, but then do it responsibly. We keep on, harping on a tragedy that has happened, harping on an inefficiency. The reader, I'm talking like from a print perspective, the reader will not accept it. We do remember things, but not in a kind of a provocative, ugly manner.
All right. To R.K. Radhakrishnan, invasion of privacy. We saw that during the Mangalore crash, where you actually barge into ICUs and hold a mic, and you have survivors giving statements, and that being flashed as breaking news even when the doctor is examining them. So we don't allow, even in the cases of tragedies, we don't allow even victims and families of the deceased to grieve in peace. We go and ask them, shove the mic in front of them and ask them how do they feel.
I will go anywhere. Whatever it takes, I will do to get to the bottom of the facts. If there is a security guy standing at the door of the ICU and he is not willing to do the job, I will barge in and ask the doctor what is happening. I think your right to know is paramount. I stand for that. I try to bring you news because nobody in Mangalore was talking. Because the only guys who will talk are the lower level guys. And to get to them, I need to use whatever it takes to get them to talk. And this is a situation where I can get them to talk because they have been caught off guard.
All right. I really wish we can nominate R.K. as the president of the National Broadcasters Association as well. Bhagwan Singh, to you next. Apart from gory visuals and pictures of, sometimes I know there are even TV channels which throw red paint on the floor for special effects. Also, since you're talking a lot about the print medium, even with the recent West Bengal train derailment, I'll give you one sentence: bodies plastered on the sides of the goods train. I don't think this was in good taste. And be it photos even of juvenile delinquents, I know the media always takes the line, we didn't know. Photos of of juvenile delinquents, of victims of sexual abuse, children, of HIV positive victims. We may mosaic them, that also is not usually it's more the exception rather than the norm today. Only a few responsible channels do that because of self-regulation. But there are giveaways otherwise. You will have the face of the person mosaic, but then you will have the name board outside the house not mosaiced.
Recently, there was a let-up. The sub-editor inadvertently printed the name of a victim who was a minor. We got a dozen calls and several letters saying we should not have done it. We apologized. We personally, I made the reporter go to that family and apologize. We do exercise a huge amount of restraint in handling these things very responsibly.
How many people do that? But maybe one Bhagwan Singh does it, but how many do that? How many editors are sensitive enough to do that?
We have to do that.
All right, R.K. Radhakrishnan, actually two questions rolled into one. One, the trial by the media. We've seen that with the Arushi case also, where the media are jumping to their own conclusions. Secondly, the racist attacks in Australia, which many believe were sort of hyped. And also, as Jayashree today pointed out, how many people today actually die due to road accidents or malnutrition or several other causes? Why is swine flu such a media event?
The point happens to be the trial by the media. Let us go to Ratho's case, which Arun brought up. I think everyone in this country wanted that fellow hanged. He got away for 30 years after after committing a
speculate on a legal issue.
No, the point is that it's been
That's
proved.
what they do.
It's been
Absolutely.
proved. It's been
See,
proved.
this itself shows, you know, like how this is a legal case. This is a case that is to be decided by court of law.
Yes.
You and I are just supposed to give the fact. That's it.
We have very clear. We have had very clear indications of what Rathore was up to. There have been, the case has been reinstated
Your
by a
emotion
higher
is
court.
well accepted. Your emotion is well appreciated.
No, it's not
but
about
it
emotion.
has no
Jayashree.
place in media. It has no place in
when
media.
we go to the lower court set this fellow free, and the High Court asked the lower court to reopen the case. What does that mean? That Rathore is free? That Rathore can do whatever he wants and gets away with it? He was the DGP of his state.
I'm saying it's not your job to do that. It's not your job to do that.
All right.
It's my job to make sure he remains in the media
it's your
and the
job
court
to
takes cognizance.
I will have to
It's your
come
job
here
to
to ensure that we
bring
don't
the
slip
truth.
into that we don't spill into the next segment, which is actually called Crossfire. Stay tuned.